Hello and welcome. Today we have a couple of interesting stories, including one about original poster who was buying Christmas gifts for her kids' cousins and decided it was better to give a less expensive gift to the cousin from the poorest family. Now her husband is angry and won't talk to her and won't listen to her true reason why. Am I the idiot for pointing out that my daughter's house is still technically mine and that my grandson should sleep on the air mattress I, 54F, sold my house to my daughter when I moved out to another city? She had just had my grandson and she and her husband couldn't afford a down payment plus mortgage or anything like that. Our agreement is for her to pay me monthly over 15 years and there would be no fees for that. Part of our agreement is that the house will be in her name when she pays me in full and I will be able to use the guest room 2x a year, 2 to 3 days, even if they are not home at that time.
They agreed because nowhere would they accept this deal without extremely high fees, plus the house was nice.
All of this is in a contract protecting both parties. It's always the same dates, my aunt and mother's birthday and another annual event in the city that I love. The home has 4/2 ba. When visiting, I try not to disturb and not cause a mess, but it's not worth staying in a hotel, because it's expensive, tourist region. It's been 5 years and my daughter had my other 2 grandchildren, 4 male and 2 female. I was recently talking to my daughter and I remembered that I would be staying at her house for 2 days for the city event. She seemed quiet and started saying that the boys wanted their rooms and ended up giving the guest room to the oldest, 6 male. So there was no room for me and she thinks it's unfair to have to ask him to sleep on the mattress with his room. So I had the option of sleeping on the mattress or paying for the hotel. I asked if the bed was still the same as in the guest room. She said yes, and when I asked if she would pay for my hotel she said no. By the way, I have a lot of pain back and would end me sleeping on the mattress, she knows that. I was disappointed and said I thought it was disrespectful for her to even mention these options to me when we have our agreement. She started saying that it was her house and she could decide who would sleep where because of that. This bothered me and I reminded her that the house is still technically mine until she pays me the full amount and that we agreed that I could use the guest room 2x a year and that my grandson is young, does not have back pain that would not get worse if he sleeps on the mattress. She got angry saying that the reality is different now and she has 3 children, so I should understand her side that my request is not fair, considering that at the time she didn't have so many children and the reality is different now. She is still angry that if I have to sleep in the hotel, she will have to pay. Am I the idiot? Sorry for my English. Top replies. Not the idiot, obviously. You're just visiting for 2 freaking days. The kid can't sleep on an air mattress or the couch for 2 freaking days. Seriously? We always give up a bed in my house when my grandma would come to visit before we had our guest room. Of course she'll sleep in my bed and not on the goddamn couch for a weekend. I feel like I'm going crazy reading some of these aitA. She's not kicking the family out of the house for 2 days or at all, just wants the agreed upon bed for 2 nights. I'm with you on this. When I was little someone of us always gave up our bed voluntarily, since my grandma had back pain and severe problems with asthma. We did that without any agreement as the daughter, since we were decent and loved her. Second reply. Not the idiot. 2 to 3 days sounds like a very reasonable amount of time for a 6-year-old to share a room or sleep on a mattress when his grandmother is visiting. That said, it is also not enough reason to use the ownership of the house as an argument to control what happens in it. That could be a last resort in a very bad case, but it is very harsh to consider it after one minor issue. Edit. Last resort, not resource. Third reply. Not the idiot. She is in breach of the agreement and she must remedy that breach. When you visit, you get that room. And she has to double her kids up. What are we talking about here? 2 visits a year. How big a hardship will that be? Your daughter appears to be quite the ingrate. If she is effectively kicking you out, you are entitled to add the cost of hotels to her bill. Fourth reply. I just can't imagine, contract or no contract, having my mother sleep on an air mattress because kids can't share a room for a few days. Like it's basic human decency and basic hospitality. We all shuffled rooms to accommodate guests when I was little, and I gave my bedroom to my visiting friends last summer because the bed there is bigger than the pull-out in the second bedroom. Seriously, what's wrong with people? Not the idiot. The second story. Am I the idiot for not gifting my nephew as nice a gift as his cousins because his parents are poor? Every Christmas my husband, C, and I get gifts for all the kids in the family. C is a stay-at-home dad with no income. We are financially comfortable, not rich, because I am a college graduate. C and his family are minority immigrants who mostly work labor jobs. This year while holiday shopping there were 6 kids total we needed to buy for. The gift we bought for D, 19, was above $100. We spend the most on him because we got custody of him at 15 and raised him. D will also buy gifts for C, our child, and I, around $40 each. There is a sibling group of kids J, 10, A, 6, M, 2, who I bought gifts for. The gifts are all around $30 to $35 each. Their parents are both hardworking and always buy our daughter gifts for Christmas. There is an only child U, 6, who we spent $45 on because his parents buy us gifts as well, and we will be buying his parents around $50 each. This brings us to L, 12. L and his family immigrated here to the USA a few months ago. L does not have an easy life as he doesn't speak English and shares one bedroom with both his parents. L's mom does not work, so his dad works overtime, but they are hardly making it. While shopping I picked out a really cheap, $15 Lego set for L. I did not want to get him nothing because that seems cruel. I know his parents do not have money to give gifts back, so I didn't plan to spend more. My husband wanted to add another few gifts to L's gift so that we're spending around the same amount on each kid. I told him I would rather not because L's parents can't reciprocate it. My husband tells me we can afford more and L has already had a tough year. He says the extra $30 for a better gift would just be wasted on fast food. He says L would see his cousin's gifts and know that they're better gifts. I told my husband that L's mom should get a job and give him a nice Christmas then like J, A, and M's family. I also reminded him how I will be paying for and cooking food for the Christmas party everyone will be attending, and L and his family probably won't bring anything because they cannot afford to. C looked hurt, as if I was insinuating L did not deserve a nice Christmas because his parents are poor. Every kid deserves a nice Christmas, I just do not think it's necessary to spend as much as the people who will actually be giving us gifts. C tells me I don't know what it's like to be a poor immigrant and have people treat you the way I'm treating L. C was not angry but looked hurt. I know C was brought to the US as a child too and had a similar life to L. For the sake of peace I bought the extra gifts for L, so total around $35 for him. C still won't talk to me and I can't understand why. I spent the extra money, and obviously don't expect anything else in return. Am I the idiot? The top replies, you are the idiot. If anything, his parents not having much would be a reason that I spend more on the child. Exactly, I can't understand original poster's thought process at all. Exactly, I can't understand original poster's thought process at all. I almost could see her worrying that it would show up the presents that the kids' parents were getting. However, that is not her intention at all, and she is absolutely the idiot for her thought process. How the heck do you look at a kid who is part of the family who is starting to get on their feet and think, well, you can't do enough for me, so I'll do the bare minimum for you? Fourth reply, I just can't imagine, contract or no contract, having my mother sleep on an air mattress because kids can't share a room for a few days like it's basic human decency and basic hospitality. We all shuffled rooms to accommodate guests when I was little, and I gave my bedroom to my visiting friends last summer because the bed there is bigger than the pull-out in the second bedroom. Seriously, what's wrong with people? Not the idiot. Fifth reply, you are the idiot all the way. Not only is it incredibly ignorant of the whole spirit of the holiday to be expecting gifts back from people and using that to calculate how much to spend on them, but you're essentially punishing this kid because his parents won't be buying you anything. Newsflash. Kids don't pick the family/financial situation they are born into. To treat this kid differently because of that is such an awful move and shows some serious classist behavior on your part. No wonder your partner is upset. Update. More context. Firstly, I do agree that maybe I was the idiot and that you all are right and Christmas time is about giving not receiving. Also, since Elle's parents have arrived to the US, I have been financially helping them, the whole family is. I've given them money for groceries and other miscellaneous things. They are undocumented, so they don't qualify for any assistance. I have also taken Elle out to eat and brought takeout to their house and had lunch with them a few times. Elle is 12 to 13, not 10. Every year before Elle and his family arrived, we, Jam and you parents, have discussed how much we will spend on each other. The gift exchange is for those wanting to participate. We usually set around a $50 limit per person. So I was staying within that limit like I do every year and just wasn't sure what to do about Elle and his family. I do not think they will be gift exchanging with the 3 other families, mine, you, and Jam's, since they cannot afford to. I will talk to the other families to see what the plan is for Elle and his family. I was buying the $15 gift so he doesn't feel left out. Since it's a family gift exchange, I'm not sure how much they'll spend on Elle since his parents won't be exchanging. The other families will probably buy Elle a gift though, because family is important to their culture. Also, as pointed out, maybe, yes, I am frustrated that Elle's mother does not work. Elle is old enough to stay home for a few hours if both parents were at work. My husband does not work and Yu's mother doesn't work because my job pays well and Yu's father owns a business. I feel frustrated for Elle that he lives the way he lives but yet only one parent is working. Yes, Elle's parents are undocumented, as was asked, but we live in a metropolis where she wouldn't have a problem getting a job. If Elle's mother was to work, then we could include her family in the gift exchange and this fight wouldn't have happened to begin with. Yes, it sounds elitist to just work, but life isn't easy and plenty of Americans wake up and go to work even when they don't feel like it every day. The third story. Am I the idiot for not wanting to go to my brother's wedding because my stepson isn't invited? I am 28, have been with my fiancé, F30, for a year and a half. I have a stepson, 4, that I adore and treat as my own. My older brother's wedding is soon. I was intending on going, but after I found out that my stepson was not invited, we started having issues. My brother explained that it's the nature of the wedding they chose, which is child-free, but my fiancé was upset that this rule was forced on family as well. She got into arguments with my brother and his fiancé and ended up deciding to not go to the wedding. As a result, I called my brother and told I no longer want to come after what happened. He began arguing, saying my fiancé is the one being unreasonable and now has convinced me to miss his wedding. I told him that this is just me supporting my family after the way he and his fiancé treated them. His fiancé said they don't owe us anything and that this is a wedding rule that applied to everyone. I said, fine, then I'm not coming. My brother is pissed my parents are calling me unreasonable for being willing to miss my only sibling's wedding and basically let a woman I've only known for a year and a half drive a wedge between us. They said if I go through with this then I might lose my brother, who's my support and comfort forever, and so much damage and hurt will come out of this. I stopped responding to them, but members of extended family are saying that me and my fiancé are creating the problem trying to control my brother's wedding. The first reply. You are the idiot. Welp, I'm sure your brother was going to find out how little you care about him sooner or later. I hope he remembers Rhiannon's acts accordingly. The second reply. You are the idiot. Your stepson wasn't targeted. It's a child-free wedding, which is becoming more and more the norm given how some people allow their children to act. There is no logic to getting irritated that family children are not excluded from the rule. Since the majority of wedding guests are family, what is the point of making a wedding child-free, but then excluding almost all guests from the rule? That would make no sense. None. This had nothing to do with your stepson, but you and your fiancé tried to make it personal. Since I cannot believe you found your fiancé's gaslighting, trying to pretend children of family should all be entitled to attend regardless of the rules, to be an actual legitimate argument, I can only assume that you chose to back up her ridiculous position to prove your loyalty to her and the boy, rather than actually believing she had any real leg to stand on. I'm glad your brother is finding out how quick you are willing to shank him to validate your position in your own relationship. You are the idiot. Huge. Edited for typos. Third reply. You are the idiot as well as your fiancé, who is an entitled, manipulative woman. I suspect that your brother will experience massive schadenfreude at the shenanigans that your future bridezilla will pull if she is this entitled about a child-free wedding that, gasp, excludes a child. Not even a shade of gray. If the child were a teenager, then perhaps it might be different. But a 4-year-old is exactly the reason that people have child-free weddings, because what 4-year-old would be perfectly behaved through a ceremony and not cause havoc at a reception? Most 4-year-olds do not react well to strange loud situations, especially when their schedules are out of whack. Between travel time, the ceremony, the noise, the people, the lack of rest and nap time, all of this inevitably results in some form of breakdown. Fourth story. Am I the idiot for crashing my wife's birthday party and taking her home? My wife turned 30 this week. I'm 26M. We've always had a strong relationship and I love her so much. My wife has a best friend from childhood, Jimmy, 28 male. I didn't know him that well, but this year we've gotten to know each other and have gotten close. He's my best bud and like an older brother to me in a lot of ways. My wife goes all out for my birthday parties and I love them. She's more of a stoic introvert, so I thought it would be nice to throw her a surprise 30th birthday with just her and me and make it a special event. I wanted to make her a gift she would love. Jimmy's an incredible artist and for the past 2 months I've been taking lessons from them. My wife was curious why I was spending so much time away from home with Jimmy, but I made vague excuses because I couldn't tell her I was making a gift for her. She's made a couple comments but never seemed upset. I told her a week before her birthday that I had made plans with Jimmy. I have a job with flexible hours, so it's not uncommon for me to do it. She wasn't upset or anything. When her birthday came, it was all I could do not to say anything. When she left for work, I put my plan in action. I decorated the place. I brought out the cake. I learned from YouTube and stored it at our friend's house. I got a dozen bouquets of flowers. I got her a few other gifts too. She was supposed to come home at 5:30 but she didn't. I waited hours for her but she didn't come home. I called Jimmy and he said he hadn't seen her. I called her and she didn't pick up. I checked her location and she was at a restaurant. I went to the restaurant and she was there with her friends. They were eating a birthday cake and she had presents. I never met these friends of hers before. I think they're from her work. She seemed sad. She wasn't smiling or energetic. I wanted to take her home and show her my gift so she would be happy. I came over to her and told her she had to come home. We grabbed her things and left. On the Uber back, she didn't say anything. At home she started crying. She has been sleeping on the couch and she avoids me. My wife hasn't talked to Jimmy either. I told my mom and she called me an idiot. I don't know why. Am I the idiot? Top replies. You are the idiot. You didn't use the critical piece of surprise party planning where you have her home at a certain time for a good reason. You just made it look like you were blowing her off, and she made other plans. You honestly just made it look like you remembered her birthday at the last minute and went overboard to try to make up for it. And instead of apologizing, you forced her to appreciate your thoughtfulness. First reply. Exactly. You said all I was going to. I mean, he makes it sound so bad. The poor woman probably thought he was having an affair. Second reply. You are the idiot. You told her you had plans on her birthday and she made her own plans. When you plan a surprise, it's on you to make sure the person will be available. The plans she made with her friends were not less important than your poorly executed surprise. Third reply. You are the idiot. You've been sneaking around and giving her vague half-dash at SS excuses about where you go. The day of her birthday you tell her you have plans and will be busy. So, she makes plans on her own, goes and tries to celebrate her b-day anyway because you've been acting distant and aloof. Then you crash that and drag her away? The surprise wasn't for her, it was about you. Look what I did. Look how awesome I am. You made her feel like crap for weeks, then on her birthday made her feel even worse.